as that. And now, they got the Afghanis coming over. And guess what they're using the Afghanis for? Same thing they're using the Mexicans for. $2 billion set aside for the Afghanis, but you still ain't got reparations. The Afghanis are here to do two things. Help gentrify the black community and to replace black people in the workforce who don't want to take the jab. That's why they're giving the Mexicans $450,000 a head. For doing what? Being separated from their babies. If you were separated from your baby at the border, you're going to get $500,000. $500,000 to the mother, $500,000 to the father. That's almost $1 million a household for illegal aliens. How many black mothers and fathers been separated from their children? Where they $500,000 at? Child Protective Services is all through Virginia right now, snatching kids from parents for ridiculous reasons. Where that $500,000 at? They're empowering the Afghanis and the Mexicans to replace Negroes in the workforce. They're using your unwillingness to take the vaccination, and you shouldn't take it. But they're using your unwillingness to take the vaccination to bring back Jim Crow. 70 years ago, you couldn't work in a white neighborhood, couldn't go to their restaurant, couldn't use their gym or their movie theater because you were black. Fast forward to 2021, you don't want to take the vaccination, no problem. Now we're going to use the vaccination as the justification for why you can't work, go to a restaurant, go to a nightclub, or go to the gym. They're going to bring back segregation all over again for black folks, but they're going to use your failure to take the vaccination as the justification. Everybody be taken care of except blacks. And a lot of it is our fault because we are multiculturally insane. Negroes don't know how to walk together. Negroes don't know how to struggle together. You always got to have a non-African in your midst. Your racial self-esteem is so low that you got to be accompanied by another group in order for you to feel like you belong there. This is why the white man keep coming up with words to bury your agenda amongst other people's issues. Like people of color. People of color. That's what they use in Virginia when they want to give all your resources to Arabs and Pakistanis and homosexuals and white women. They just say minorities. See, if I lump black folks under the minority umbrella, I can take care of everybody but black folks and it still look like they got a piece of the pie because they are part of the label. People of color, same thing. I'm going to take care of everybody else except black folks, but because they bought into the label, it looks like they got their piece of the pie too. And now you see what they're doing with the historically black colleges and universities? President Biden came up with a new word for them too. HBCUs are no longer special in America. They're now part of a new catch-all phrase known as minority-serving colleges and institutions. Do your research. Minority-serving colleges and institutions. So now, the $45 billion that Crazy Joe promised got cut to $2 billion, and the other 43 is going to get redirected to minority-serving colleges and institutions. So now we're going to give money to the schools that help Hispanics and homosexuals, transgenders, Afghanis, Mexicans. And it's our fault. Because if we would have just stood tall on being black and said we're only interested in ourselves, because everybody else is. The European Jew ain't talking about nobody but Jews. Latinos ain't talking about nothing but Latinos. And of course we know 90% of them black anyway. Just keep it real. But like everybody else who come to America, they don't want to be associated with you. So when the Latinos came into the country, especially in the 60s and 70s, come on in family, they would say they were white. And the white man said, you're not white. You look like Jimmy Snooperfly Snooker. How the hell you white? And the Latinos, our Cuban African brothers and sisters with self-hating, the Dominican African brothers and sisters with self-hating. My great-grandfather is Cuban. I know the deal. We don't want to be included with y'all even though we one of y'all. So the white man said, we got to compromise. We're going to give you a word you can use. You cannot call yourself white because you're not, but you can call yourself Hispanic. And in the 1970 census, they introduced the word Hispanic for Spanish-speaking Africans who didn't want to be included with the rest of us. Most groups who came to America fought not to be a person of color. Chinese went to court to try to be called white. They lost. Mexicans went to court to try to be called white. They lost. Oh, yeah. Do your research on it. Remember, even Jews, Irish, and Italians weren't even white till 1940. They were called guineas because everybody knows the Southern Europeans got black blood in them. That's why their skin is dark and their hair black. See, when you start shaking people's family trees, all kind of Negroes fall off them family trees. But the reason you don't see nobody shaking no family trees is because nobody wants to be proud of their African blood, not even us. You got niggas running around talking about something, I'm an Indian. Won't even let you near the casino. I'm half Choctaw and half Cherokee Negro, you half crazy. Do you know the first thing the Native American tribes did, the 5 major tribes, when they start getting settlements and casinos and land from the government? They wrote into their treaties that American Africans could never lay claim to any of it. Do your research. And then you say, well, guess what, Doc? I don't need to be included with them. We're going to do our own pretendian nation. Okay, pretendians. What is your solution, though? You are already in America. Fine, if you want to argue that. What is your solution to white supremacy? Because if you're telling me you have no independent land base to fight this, you'll never be free. Land is the basis of nation, and it is the basis of revolution. How did Vietnam beat America in the 70s? Because Ho Chi Minh, who studied Garvey, by the way, admittedly so, he had an independent land base that he controlled. How did the Somalians beat America back in the 90s? Because they had an independent land base that they could control. How did Cuba stave off American invasion and colonization? They had an independent land base that they control. So my question to the pretendian nations, if you ain't got no independent land base that you control, I'm trying to understand how you're going to mount an offensive or defensive against the most awesome military machine in the world. See, brothers and sisters, you got to be careful about people who want to keep on entertaining conversations about what used to be. Yeah. Have you noticed that in the black community, 90% of everything we talk about is in the past? Where do we come from? Who's the greatest scholar? This and this and this and that. You cannot solve your problems in the past. You got to solve your problems in the present. And I can't think of the last time I got invited to a meeting or a conference to talk about problems we have here and now. That's the problem with the woke movement. Everything is looking backwards. I understand the importance of history, but the Sankofa bird says, I look back to get what I need, but the bird is always marching into the future. We don't ever talk about the present, and we don't never talk about the future. You know why? Because don't nobody want to do no damn work. Y'all don't either. You just want to watch woke videos and feel like you struggling. I watched 10 YouTubes today. You ain't done no work. Information is not struggle. Information is preparation for the struggle. Black people are allergic to building their own institutions. Y'all see when we started with FDMG, oh, why he need a school? Why can't he just teach them online? Well, COVID taught you about that. Our kids couldn't wait to go back into the school. Don't no child want to be home all damn day with you. They don't like you half the time. Dead serious. Kids say, Dr. I can't wait to get the hell out this house. But we don't want to do anything for ourselves. We don't want the responsibility for that. Online learning does not do a better job than a real person teaching your child. The reason online learning is so popular is because it's so cost efficient. I don't need no building. I don't need no teachers. I don't need no lunch. I don't need no class trips. Everything, just give them a laptop, keep going. That's why it's so popular, but there's no research that shows it's better because it's not.